Hey everybody, just going to do a summary for chapter 9. I am offered a quest so that if you've read it and you're not sure exactly what's happened, I'll just summarize the important parts. So the chapter is entitled I'm offered a quest, and usually heroes are in Greek mythology are given quests based on some sort of prophecy, which is something that fortune tellers or oracles predict may happen in the future or what will happen in the future. And usually these quests involve dangerous animals and really super impossible tasks to complete. So that's what Percy's going to have to do. So we start off the chapter. He moves into cabin 3 all by himself, and he was worried that he was just kind of making friends in cabin 11, and now he has to be by himself. Then he's looking at a news story about Percy being missing and his mom, so that's in the news, so they can't hide that fact. And then Percy had a very strange dream, and I'll read a little bit of it for you. So then that night I had my worst dream yet. I was running along the beach in a storm. This time, there was a city behind me. Not New York. The sprawl was different. Buildings spread apart, palm trees and low hills in the distance. About 100 yards down the surf, 2 men were fighting. They looked like TV wrestlers, muscular with beards and long hair. Both wore flowing Greek tunics, one trimmed in blue, the other in green. They grappled with each other, wrestled, kicked, and headbutted, and every time they connected, lightning flashed, the sky grew darker, and the wind rose. Now, Percy tried to go stop them in his dream, but he just could not get anywhere, and they were arguing. So over the roar of the storm, I could hear the blue-robed one yelling at the green-robed one, "Give it back! Give it back!" like a kindergartner fighting over a toy. The waves got bigger, crashing into the beach, spraying me with salt. I yelled, "Stop it! Stop fighting!" The ground shook. Laughter came from somewhere under the earth. And a voice so deep and evil turned my blood to ice. "Come down, little hero," the voice crooned. "Come down." The sand split beneath me, opening a crevice straight down to the center of the earth. My feet slipped, and darkness swallowed me up. I woke up. Sure, I was falling. So this really weird dream. And when Percy was talking with Chiron and Grover, he knew who those 2 guys were fighting. And it was Poseidon and Zeus. So that's who he was seeing fighting. And they were fighting over a lightning bolt, the Master Bolt. And that belonged to Zeus. Zeus thinks Percy took it during the winter solstice. And since Zeus thinks that, Percy is Poseidon's son, so Zeus is really upset at Poseidon, and it looks like a big war might be brewing. So Percy has to go and see the oracle in the old house, and the oracle looked like a mummy-looking thing and kind of scary. And he received a prophecy. So I'm just going to read it. I marked it down so I could read it to you guys. So, the mist swirled more thickly, collecting right in front of me around the table with the pickled Monster Park jars. Suddenly there were 4 men sitting around a table playing cards. Their faces became clear. It was Smelly Gabe and his buddies. My fist clenched, though I knew the poker party couldn't be real. It was an illusion made out of mist. Gabe turned toward me and spoke with a rasping voice. "Of the oracle, you shall go west and face the god who has turned." His buddy on the right looked at me and said in the same voice, "You shall find what was stolen and see it safely return." The guy on the left threw in 2 poker chips and said, You shall be betrayed by one who calls you a friend. And finally, Eddie, our building super, delivered the worst line of all. And you shall fail to save what matters most in the end. And then the figure's dissolved, and that's the prophecy. And the prophecy usually is something that you have to figure out. It's not just plain. So they have to head out west because that's where Hades is. And they figure he's the god that possibly has turned. And so the other gods, they can't really go down to the underworld and try and steal it back. So they have to send these heroes, okay? On page, well, I guess you guys have a different page. Gods cannot cross each other's territories except by invitation. That is another ancient rule. Heroes, on the other hand, have certain privileges. They can go anywhere, challenge anyone, as long as they're bold enough and strong enough to do it. No god can be held responsible for a hero's actions. So that means Percy is on his way to the underworld. And at the end of the chapter, we find out a couple little things here. Annabeth's got a Yankees hat, and that Yankees hat turns her invisible, which may come in handy. And then at the very end, we have our 3 people that are going to be in the quest. We've got Percy Jackson, Annabeth Chase, and Grover Underwood. And that is chapter 9. Thank you. Listen again if you want to.